In part 1 of our cabbage episode, we looked at dishes from Iran, South Korea, Poland, Romania, and the USA.
I've never pounded cabbage before.
Some of these are really big. Like, look at this one. Chinese stir-fried cabbage with bacon? Yes. Double yes. You guys love that episode. So we're doing a part 2. Today we are looking at dishes from India, Austria, Taiwan, the USA, and Germany. So, let's get started.
God, my cabbages!
Hi, my name is Yi and I'm from Taiwan. Today I want to share with you a dish called Huángjīn Pàocài, or golden pickled cabbage in English. Just like the name suggests, golden pickled cabbage is a pickle dish made with fresh cabbage. It's marinated with fermented bean curd, carrot, garlic, and vinegar. The bright golden color comes from the carrot, or sometimes pumpkin puree, depending on the recipe. I love this dish because it's super quick and easy to make. You still get that deep umami flavor from the fermented bean curd, but without having to wait for the cabbage to be fermented. And at the same time, it's fruity and refreshing. It's like you're giving the dish a little shortcut, a way to condense time into seasoning. And honestly, time and memory really do make food taste better. Golden pickled cabbage is pretty popular in Taiwan. You can easily find it in almost everywhere. And it's not just cabbage. You might also see golden pickled seaweed, cucumber, radish, or even other vegetables with the same base. Almost every vegetable can be golden pickled.
I've never heard of this before, or tried it obviously. I need to taste it. It's really strong on its own. This also kind of reminds me of the base of kimchi and how the way we're using it, because it can be used for a lot of vegetables to ferment them. I think this is going to be really good.
In a way, I think this reflects something about Taiwanese cuisine. We have a deep connection to pickling, fermenting, and dehydrating ingredients.
The nutty scent to this, which is the sesame oil, that is really good. It's tangy and nutty.
I love that.
I love that too. Cool.
It's all about preserving produce and letting flavor develop over time, so that later you can always come back to it.
The most important tool you have in your arsenal.
And yet, the flavor is never exactly the same. Because of that, I feel an even deeper connection to the memory of my family making fermented bean curd every summer. Sometimes we use last year's bean curd to make golden pickled cabbage, bring together the taste of last season with the freshness of this year. So, if you are looking for the taste of past and present, why not give it a try? I hope you like it.
This smells so good. I'm so excited to try it with the cabbage. That's amazing. Especially if you let this sit for a couple days. This really is reminiscent to me of Korean kimchi, especially because you can use so many different vegetables in it. I had never had or heard of fermented bean curd before, and tasting it really was surprising. On its own, it was really strong, but when I mixed it with the carrot and the apple cider vinegar and the apple, what else did I put in there? Garlic, it all came together to make this really, really well-rounded paste. This is something I'm gonna be excited to have in my fridge for a while. This is present day Beryl checking in, and I am almost out of my golden cabbage. It is so good. I just like eating it straight out of the jar. It's so good a couple days later. This is really simple to make. I think if we hadn't been filming, I could have put this together in like 15 to 20 minutes. Golden cabbage, 10 thumbs up. 10 fingers up. 2 thumbs up. We got there in the end. Anxiety often peaks in the springtime, and my sponsor for today's episode, BetterHelp, can help connect you with a therapist to provide support. I know as we go into spring and summer, my social feeds are full of vacation photos, people doing things outside, and for me personally, it makes me compare my life to theirs, and sometimes I feel like I'm missing out. And as somebody with anxiety, this is honestly not a helpful thing. And while sometimes you might think that it's easy to just live with anxiety, BetterHelp can actually help. You go on their website and click what you want to talk about, and within around 48 hours, BetterHelp will connect you with a therapist. If that first therapist isn't right for you, it's really easy to switch. I have used the website before, and I switched twice before I found the therapist that I really liked. You can talk to your therapist through video, call, or chat, whatever you feel most comfortable with. They have over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 rating on Trustpilot, so honestly, BetterHelp is a website that you can trust. So if you're looking for help or somebody to talk to, go to betterhelp.com/Beryl or use my link in the description to get 10% off your first month.
Hi Beryl, this is Sukanya. I currently live in California, but I'm originally from Chennai in India. The dish I wanted to talk to you today about is Kaalan or Roadside Kaalan, which literally translates to street shop mushrooms. But I know this is a cabbage episode. Stay with me.
How do you guys feel about washing your mushrooms? Personally, I don't do it. I just use my finger and scrape off the little dirt, but I know that my mom in particular gets a wet paper towel and like wipes them down. But I mean, I just feel like it's a little dirt and that doesn't bother me.
Kaalan is actually fried cabbage and mushroom fritters with a spicy gravy or sauce poured over it.
I just want to interject and say that my masala daba is one of my favorite things in my kitchen. It has all the spices that I cook with most often for Indian cuisine, but I think it's something that you could use for any spices that you cook with often. It's just so easy and you can just scoop it out, put them in. I love it. I'll leave a link to one in the description if you're interested.
This dish is something you don't find in fancy restaurants in India, but in these street shops that open only in the evening. And as friends, we used to go after grueling tuition classes. And it used to be only 30 rupees and we used to share a plate which fit right into our budget. The key here is to eat as soon as you get it from the shopkeeper so that the crunchiness still remains. So this doesn't fare well with takeouts. So I think I like this dish because it is spicy, tangy, and fares really well on cold evenings.
Look at how messy this is. I hate it. Oh.
This dish is super famous in Tamil Nadu, but I don't think it is famous anywhere else in India. I want people to try this dish so that it gives them a taste of Tamil Nadu street food.
I would say that this dish falls into the category of Indo-Chinese food, which is India's take on Chinese food, and it is one of my favorite parts of the cuisine. It is so good and tangy. A cabbage fritter sounds great. It is really good. That sauce has a perfect blend of spice and tang from the vinegar, and it's thick and is coating the cabbage and mushroom fritters perfectly. I'm going back in for bite number 2. I don't want it to get cold. When Sukanya said that this cost 30 rupees, I did a conversion and that's 35 US cents, which is really, really a bang for your buck. I love topping dishes with red onions because they give a bit of crunchy sweetness, and because this is so tangy, it pairs so well. I know that investing in Indian spices can be very daunting and very expensive, but I think that Indian food is one of those cuisines that feels really intimidating when you're looking at a recipe because there's a million things, but mostly it's spices. And so I think it's actually a really good investment because Indian food is really fun to cook at home. A little personal story, the first time I started cooking Indian food, I needed to buy all the spices and I think I spent like $60 on them, and I was just in shock at how expensive it was to create that collection. But now that I have my collection, obviously it's a lot better, but that first moment buying all those spices, it was humbling and expensive. I often have trouble cooking street food in my kitchen. I feel like it's the street food ones that are always so hard. Street food in general, I find hard to recreate. Well, I'm flustered, very flustered. But this is a dish that I did not struggle with. And overall, I found it actually quite simple to make, which was a relief, to be totally honest. And I just had fun the whole time. The water in this makes its own dough, so you don't have to add anything. See?
Wow, that's cool.
You can definitely taste the cabbage in the fritters, so I would say Sukanya's right. This is definitely a cabbage dish.
Hi, Beryl. My name is Delani, and I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And the name of the dish that I'm introducing today is smothered cabbage. This dish is a smothered cabbage dish that involves potatoes, bacon, and some aromatic veggies that are like onions and garlic. It's a really soothing dish, and I find it to be extremely comforting after a long day, when you just want something that'll stick to your gut, or even just because you want to have some cabbage. I think it's a really great dish in those moments.
This is a lot of bacon, and I am here for it. I also did a bacon episode. If you, like me, are a bacon fan, I'll leave a link to it in the description. It was a good idea to cut it whole, but then I didn't think about having to separate each little piece of bacon. This is my burden to bear now, my bacon burden. It's the final bacon. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da.
It's not a super ubiquitous dish across the United States. It is most definitely a soul food dish based in the culture of Black Americans. There are other cabbage dishes across the African diaspora, but this one is of Black American creation. This is one that I learned from my family. I'm not even entirely certain at what ages this dish was first introduced to me. It's one of those dishes that you always have, that shows up every so often at a reunion, at your grandmother's house, in your bowl in front of you. And as a kid, you ask, what is this? And they tell you, it's cabbage, eat it.
I'm using my heart with all these measurements, and my heart is this little spoon. So I'm gonna taste the water when it's done to just make sure that it feels well-rounded. But I also don't know what I'm looking for. More seasoning.
But it's a wonderful dish. It's like a hug in a bowl, and it's one of those dishes that before you know it, you know how to make it, because it's so simple and also so similar to so many other dishes that you learn how to make growing up. And I feel that it's one of those dishes that everyone should give a try. It is so comforting, so soothing, and so delicious. So if you get a chance, definitely try it.
This cabbage stewed for a while, like 2 hours, so Leia and I had to entertain ourselves.
I'm going to have to text my therapist.
We have time to kill, so we're watching Veep. But it smells really good, so I feel like it's gonna taste really good. Wow. That is deep in so much flavor. The cabbage is so soft and nice. The cabbage definitely has spice to it. I don't think in general I think about cabbage dishes as being spicy, but I love the flavor contrast. So comforting. I'm definitely gonna be eating this for dinner with Rudget. I'll take a clip and I'm gonna see if I can convince him to be on camera because he never wants to be. We're eating it for dinner tonight. Rudget, do you like it?
I love it. It's great.
He was on camera! It was a long cook, but I'll tell you, honestly, a Scout's honor, it was worth it.
Hi, my name's Franziska, and I live in Dortmund, Germany. But I was born and raised in the Bavarian countryside, which is an area in the southeast of Germany. The cabbage dish I want to share today is called Sauerkrautstrudel. I guess it's pretty universally understandable, but basically it's a savory strudel made with sauerkraut instead of apples. A strudel is a roll with a filling, and it is made with a comparably thin dough. In many regions you can find pre-made strudel dough. Probably you can also get away with pre-made phyllo, yufka or similar thin pastry. The most common filling is probably apples.
I did not know that you were supposed to cook sauerkraut. That is something that I learned in the comments from all of you, so I am heating it up before I cook with it. I don't really know what heating it up does. I just always eat it cold, right out of the can. Raw dog that. Guess that was wrong. Can you say raw dog?
You just did.
I know.
For today's variation, I want to introduce fermented cabbage as a filling. If you're very much into meat, please add some bacon, cured or smoked meat, sausage or ham. Personally, I like it vegetarian. During my childhood in the countryside on Friday, no meat was eaten due to traditions and religious reasons. So, when my sister dug out a recipe for Sauerkrautstrudel, we were quite fascinated, but also a bit unsure whether this would be even palatable. In any case, we tried it out, and in addition to the regular Apfelstrudel, and we really loved it. The slightly sour, very savory preparation was particularly enjoyable, and the crisp, buttery dough on the outside rounded out the simple dish quite nicely. For me, this is sort of a comfort food. Having a savory version up my sleeve allows me to accommodate guests who did not grow up in the same region than I did.
I feel like this is the part where everything can go wrong. Maybe the rolling as well. Okay, there are two parts where everything can go wrong. The spreading it out so it's nice and thin and covering everything and not too far from the edge, and then the rolling. I don't have good success rolling things. What was that thing I rolled? The potato.
The tuna roll.
The tuna roll. Ooh, that one was not good. Crud. Oh no! Let's not have a repeat of that.
Okay, so fold in this side first. And this side.
I really look forward to sharing this dish with my son and to connect him with my roots. Most often I think about how we ate together. Some family members prefer the crispy outer edges, but personally I love the creamy soft middle.
Whew. I think we did it. I'm not sure if it's thick enough, but I know the puff pastry is gonna puff when we cook it, but it's definitely a little thicker on the ends than in the middle. But it's stuffed with cabbage, so.
Only my younger sister had the same preference than I, and we oftentimes fought over the middle piece until my mother would cut out the very edge to create more meat for us.
Everybody together who's watching this, let's say, go Strudel, go! Okay, I don't know if you did that, but thanks.
I hope you try Sauerkrautstrudel because it is a healthy, customizable, affordable, and great vegetarian option to try out southern German food.
It was in the oven for 40 minutes, but it looks a little raw in the center, so back to the oven. Ugh, the roll strikes again. Okay, every recipe that I am looking at is saying that the cook time is 35 to 40 minutes. I don't understand. My oven is a normal oven. It was so raw in the middle. What is happening? Oh. Trying to cool it down quickly. Hopefully the fan works. This is very Great British Bake Off right now.
Okay, round 2. Oh God, I don't know how that feels. All right, I'm cutting it just to check more. What do you think? Does it look raw?
I'm wondering if it's just wet. It looks this bit is worrying me, but like that I think is just wet.
I'm gonna try to eat it.
I think you should. No, I think it's okay.
When I was little, my mother always had a pot of sauerkraut in the fridge and reheated it as a side dish with almost every dish. Please enjoy the Sauerkrautstrudel.
This one was stressful. It was raw for a very long time.
That's definitely raw.
I think ultimately it was in the oven for like 65 minutes, and I'm not even sure if it's cooked all the way, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Actually, I think it might be cooked all the way. I think it looks a little wet, but that's because it's surrounded by wetness. But is it cooked all the way? I think I would be nervous to serve this to people, but for myself eating it up here, I feel like it's fine. Oh, sitting with the fan in there was very funny to me. We were trying to get it to cool down as quickly as possible to slice into it because we were sick of being in the kitchen. Puff pastry really gets everywhere. Rolled things in general, they're just hard because you need to have skill. And I just don't really have skill yet. I have some skills, but not a rolled thing skill. Even if it's raw, I'm into it. Hopefully I'll be okay. Here's hoping.
Hi, my name is Caroline and I was born and raised and I'm still living in the south of Austria. The dish I want to share with you all today is something very typical in Austria, and it is called Krautfleckerl, which would translate to cabbage patches in English. The main ingredients are white cabbage and a kind of pasta called Fleckerl or patches, because they are tiny and look a little bit like tiny patches. This dish, as I said, is very typical in Austria, and there are a few different variations for it. Some of them use ham, but the one that I grew up with is accidentally vegan. Krautfleckerl are made with caramelized onion and shredded cabbage that you cook until it's sweet as well as soft and super savory. At the end, the cooked pasta gets added to it. Ideal are the typical Austrian Fleckerl pasta, but if you can't find them, you can use any other small pasta kind, or even break up lasagna noodles and into small pieces and use them.
I think because of the sugar, the onions caramelized a bit more than I expected. They're actually not burnt looking, but they're very brown. I think it's okay. It just doesn't look exactly how I want it to look. These aren't the exact noodles that Caroline said that I should use, but I couldn't find them here. These are very similar and they're just little squares of pasta, so I think it's gonna be okay.
I love the combination of the caramelized cabbage, the pasta and the caraway seeds that add the finishing touch. Don't skip the caraway seeds. I'm usually not the biggest fan of them, but in this dish, they add the perfect flavor. While you might find this dish in some typical restaurants here in Austria,
that might have been more than one serving.
It is much more common to make at home. The ingredients are cheap and easy to get, and while it needs some time to cook, it is easy to prepare. I remember Krautfleckerl being one of the very first dishes I learned how to cook from my mom. To this day, I make the Krautfleckerl exactly as my mom taught me, and it is a staple in our menu. You all should try Krautfleckerl because it's so rare to find an Austrian dish that is typical for our country. All in all, just a hearty and a wonderful comfort food dish.
Okay, I'm just gonna dig in. So we burned the onions a little bit, and that's because I think the sugar was in there and the flame was a bit too high, but ultimately they're still soft and caramelized, so they're not like crispy burned onions, and I think that the flavor is still okay. But if this is something that you might want to make, I would say you really need to turn the temperature down. The cabbage shrunk in size so much. I bet I could have done a little bit more cabbage, but I was intimidated by how much raw cabbage there was, so I didn't keep going on the chopping.
Should I do a quarter of this? Just seems like so much cabbage. Did we do enough cabbage?
But every bite I get has cabbage in it, so maybe it's okay. The one thing that I don't really like about this is the whole caraway seeds. They're in my teeth. When I bite down on them, they're a little hard. And the taste of caraway seed is a little licoricey with like a minty flavor to it. And it's definitely not my favorite of all the seeds. I like the little pasta flakes. Egg noodles are definitely one of my favorite types of noodles. They're up there because the flavor is so nice. And the cabbage is good mixed into this. Like as a cabbage pasta dish, it's interesting, it's different, and I think that it's really well balanced. One thing that I thought was funny is in the comments one day, I saw someone say that this bowl is my moldy bread plate because it looks like moldy bread. That's weird. I don't think it does, but maybe it does a little bit. Sometimes the comment section gets me. I love it so much. Unless people are talking about my eyebrows, then I don't like it. Anyway, it's a good pasta dish. I like the cabbage in it. It's a good cabbage dish, it's a good pasta dish. I hope you liked this episode. I'm leaving all the recipes from my website, beryl.nyc, in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my show. I would really appreciate it. And until next week, I'm leaving you with our cabbage episode #1 and our rice dishes around the world. It's super fun to watch.